What's up, everybody? Matt Malatesta, Matthew Ogle in the building. We're in the VYPE podcast room today, pivoting, switching gears. We're talking a little volleyball. Volleyball is hot in Houston. Last year, we had two teams in the state championship game. Of course, Grand Oaks wins. They beat Cinco Ranch. The powers that be continue to be the powers that be. My thing is this, Ogle. Sell me on Stratford.
Well, they're balling. They're definitely balling right now. Last year was actually really cool. We talked with Coach Jenny Adcock, and they used us as kind of motivation because we didn't have them in our top 10 or top. We had them as others to watch, and then they kind of emerged. And I hit her up, and it was like, oh, y'all are overlooked no longer. But this year, they've really burst onto the scene. They just beat Cy Ranch, and Cy Ranch was our number one team ranked beforehand. Heading into this past week, and they're 22-2 right now. They're number 10 ranked in the nation according to Max Preps. They got a lot of figures on that team, beginning with good old Sarah Hickman. That girl's 6'5", towers over the net, and it's really showing. She's almost got 300 kills already, averaging about 5 per set, but she's not alone. She's got Gwen Koss and Audrey Cook. She's got a lot of weapons. Coach Adcock does on that roster, and I don't know. They're definitely going to be one to fear come November once the playoffs roll around.
It's crazy because I don't know why. I just feel like they're off the grid where we cover them. But man, they are really. I'm trying to say, hey, I'm not sure that they're that good. I'm not sure they're that good. They're good. They beat Cy Ranch, who is our number one team. Taylor Porter is a star over there. They're still really good, Cy Ranch. And they've beaten great teams like Grand Oaks and Cinco Ranch. So it's kind of like this tournament season is hard to tell sometimes because they're playing so many games rapidly. And there's a lot of upsets. So it's kind of weird to kind of see how it plays out. All right. So if they're the number one team, who's the number two team?
I'd argue Fulshire is. Fulshire, they got, obviously Bailey Warren. She's our cover girl right there. Nothing against Taylor Porter either. Cy Ranch is balling. But Fulshire, like you said, it's kind of tough to gauge the level of talent that comes into tournament season since they're so rapid and you don't know who's sitting, who's not. But Fulshire, they've beaten those good teams. They've beaten, obviously Tompkins. They play them. They beat Seven Lakes, and they beat Pearland, but yes, they did beat Grand Oaks at one point. They've made their introduction into 6A, and they've got those weapons. Bailey Warren, they got Alexis James, Sydney Black, Yosola Adelecki, Lauren Witt. There's that 6 rotation right there. Could be one of the strongest in the state, and I think that's definitely going to come into play. I think they could dethrone the champs this year, honestly.
He said 6 rotation. Matthew Ogle knows some volleyball. Okay, so that's awesome. So what I think is cool is that they did move from 5A to 6A. They've done the same thing in football, and they just keep rolling, man. They're just winning in both of those sports, which is really hard to do. Other teams I really like, Cinco Ranch. I love Cassie O'Brien. This kid is super fun, super cool. I know you've interviewed her a couple times. She's going to Kentucky, but she could be the best player possibly in the state of Texas, probably the best setter in the state of Texas. She's giant. She's like a 6'1" setter, but she's just got a bunch of bounce to her, a lot of great energy. I like them. Of course, we got to like Grand Oaks. They're the defending champs. Grand Oaks, they just lost so much off of that team. Samara Coleman is tremendous. Hallie Thompson's doing a great job. They've got star power, but I'm not sure that they have the glue people that they had years from last year that have graduated. How about other teams?
Well, I'd argue otherwise for Grand Oaks. Like I said, I think Fulshire can beat them, but the culture that Coach Morgan Rogers has instilled in that program, and yes, they did lose Jayla Augusti. I keep forgetting how to pronounce her last name. And there's a few more that they lost, but like you said, I think they got that glue. They're still right now. They're 23-6. They're still a top 10 team, I think, in the state. But other teams, we did mention Cy Ranch. They actually have some more pieces coming into play. They obviously have Taylor Porter right there. Yeah, right there. But they have this freshman that came on that's the younger sister of Zora Bello, who's still on the team. I think her name's Sadie or Sade. She's the second leading offensive hitter on that team. And I think they got a lot of pieces coming up. Aside from them, however, I really like Pearland. Pearland, they were kind of overlooked heading into this year.
We overlooked them.
Yep.
Again.
Admonish us here. I mean, they're 24-4 right now. They're balling. They got some tough competition coming up. I think it'll be a really nice district test when they play Pearland Dawson, but they also play Fulshire in a couple weeks. So that's going to be the real test to see if they've got what it takes to exceed in the the upper stages of Texas high school volleyball. But I mean, Coach Jamie Gills, she's been kind of brewing something over there. She's got a lot of weapons. Avery Coonson's great. Kamani Rugley's great. And they have a few more. I mean, Cora Wolford. They got Brittany Solomon. They got so many of these little pieces that kind of, like we said, fly under the radar, but they're starting to make their voices heard, I feel.
Well said. Okay, so on 5A, I love Friendswood. They're really good. I like Barbers Hill. Lake Creek has been a bit of a surprise. Peyton McKee is kind of the straw that stirs the drink over there, but tremendous coaching. They've really turned a corner, and they're also in the early season rankings as it relates to the city of Houston and the state of Texas. But 5A wise, I think it's Friendswood to lose.
I would agree. I think they have too much talent not to at least make a 4-round, 5-round trip. The only team that stood in their way last year was Barbers Hill, but they've lost several key pieces, namely Peyton Fidel and Chloe. But it's, like you said, they got Nadia Shelby. She was a cover girl last year. Caroline Adams. They've got the offensive weaponry and the accommodating defensive specialists to make a necessary run there. We made the mistake of assuming Manville was 5A. They're actually 6A now. But I think there's just not as many true competitors or true contenders in 5A whenever it comes to that. Like 6A, there's so many people we don't expect. Like, I mean, Stratford. We had them up there, but we didn't expect them to be number one. And look at them now. So 5A, there's a little less
competition. Honestly, yeah.
I mean, and not to say that there aren't good teams. It's just Friendswood, I think you're right. It is theirs to lose. But you never know. Playoffs are a different story. District's a different story. And that's really going to be coming up shortly. I feel that it's really going to be who has that grit to go the distance.
Belleville's really good in 4A, as is Huffman Hargrave. All right, quick little ditty on private school. We got to talk about some private schools.
Yes.
Lutheran South, they're nice. You were out at Fort Bend Christian Academy. What happened at FBCA?
Well, my good friend Dion Miner, who's also a Steelers fan, go Steelers, we got that dub. He invited me to come see something that you don't often get to witness. He wanted his daughter to get a little special attention, and rightfully so. So I went over to Fort Bend Christian. They played St. Agnes. It was a tough game. They ended up falling just barely in set number 5, but Bailey Miner, who's the star of FBCA, surpassed 1,000 kills in her career. That was a big moment for her. Really cool to witness. And she's just coming off an injury too. And I think that's why they've kind of gotten to a rut. Not just her in particular. Lane Bulow's had some injuries too. There's that rotation. There's some pieces missing every now and then, and that's where health and longevity needs to come into play. And I think they're going to be fine. Like you said, LSA is a district rival who was in the state championship last year.
St. Agnes is really good.
St. Agnes is very good. I'm really starting to get high on them. I think they got a lot of good pieces, Amaya Love in particular. But yeah, it was fantastic for FBCA, and I think that they've had some bumps and bruises, but I think once the playoffs roll around, they're gonna get their stuff together, and they got too many good pieces not to, I think.
Okay, so what have we taken away? We've taken away, A, that Stratford is for real. Fulshire, Grand Oaks, Ridge Point. We never really talked about Ridge Point. They're really good. Pearland's really good. That's 6A. 5A, we're going Friendswood. We're going Lake Creek. We're going Barbers Hill. And then private school, St. Agnes, LSA. FBCA is going to come up. They're going to be on the come up, I think.
There's actually some more, like there's a few other teams, like St. John's School. They're actually very competitive whenever it comes to, like I think that the coaching there really wants them to be thrown to the wolves, so to speak. They've been playing some really good TAPS 6A and TAPS 5A teams. And I mean, same thing, it can get confusing with St. John and St. John the 23rd, but the SJ23 is doing really well. I think in Houston, there's so much talent that goes behind the scenes on the private school scene. I mean, it's going to be difficult. They're going to have to take Prestonwood Christian Academy.
No one's beating them.
That's a tough.
No one's beating them.
That's a tall task, definitely. But I think Houston could potentially. I mean, Episcopal, they win it every year. But, I mean, you never know. St. John's could be there. Kincaid is a sleeper with the SPC. But, yeah, I mean, H-Town volleyball is where it's at.
I tell you what, it is super loaded. Houston is loaded with great volleyball. We love to cover it. This is Matt and Matt. We call him Ogle.
Yeah.
He's repping the Steelers as usual. Hey, stay tuned. Check us out on our website, all of our social media. We do a ton of content on volleyball. If you're a fan, follow us. VYPE Houston, VYPETexas.com. Check out the magazine. Check out our YouTube, like, subscribe, etc. Matt and Matt, see you at the games.